Got to get this thing. It should kick in. Here we go. That's it. All right, everybody. You are listening to the Catoe and Church Podcast. First, we want to say we appreciate it that anybody would listen. But we do thank you so much for doing that. As I said, it's the Catoe and Church Podcast. And as you noticed, Catoe is not here. He is off on vacation, and he is unable to be with us this evening. But we're still going to have a good time. And as promised, we have our guest with us this evening here on the Catoe and Church Podcast. And we tried to do this a week or so ago, and something on my end failed. I don't know what it was. I'm not computer savvy. But as everybody can see, this week he is here. We are so honored and glad to have from the nationally syndicated, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. I know you're all over the country, but I think that's the right words. But we are honored to have on the Catoe and Church Podcast this evening, Calvin Speedy Wilburn.
What's up, guys? How are y'all?
Oh, we're doing great, man. And again, we are just so honored and thankful that you would be with us. Because it's like I told you before we went on the air or we started recording. As I said, not going to promise you your stock's going to go up, but man, it's a blessing to us that you'd be with us.
Hey, I am honored to be with you. And thank you for asking.
Well, as I said, everybody, Catoe and Mr. Speedy Catoe is not with us this evening. I hate that he is not because I would like for you to have seen Catoe. And, and the reason that I say that is I heard you guys this morning. Well, yeah. I had to go and I done it on the podcast because sometimes I miss some parts. Right. And I heard you guys talking about this, but with Bubba and Neil Cavuto and their head.
Good night. It's a big head.
And so I'm going to tell you that Catoe, I'm going to promise you that he would probably rival them.
Okay. All right. So it must be a noggin.
And it's as slick as yours is.
Okay.
And so I hate that you don't get to witness that. But yeah. But again, we are glad you're here, and we just I know my son here, he's part of the pod squad with us. He's kind of our in a little way, he's kind of like our Adler.
Okay. All right. So he does everything, huh?
So he's kind of our nerd.
Okay. All right.
When it comes to the computers and cameras and such like that, and he's learning too as well. So that's kind of what he is with us.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when we have interns that come through Rick and Bubba University, it used to be when this thing started, it used to be that we would ask them, hey, what's your focus? I want to go into radio. I want to go into TV, or I want to go into public relations. And then we would try to help them a little bit. Now with the podcast formats and stuff, you got to know how to do it all. You got to know how to do TV. Yeah. You got to know how to do radio. You got to know how to upload stuff. You got to know how to stream. I mean, you got to know how to do it all. So having him and at that age, learning how to do all that, that's only going to help him.
Well, exactly, and he likes it. We had a talk here a while back. He serves God's chicken now.
Okay,
he started a job at Chick-fil-A. Right. So, but we were talking here a while back. I'm like, Seth, I said, what do you have any kind of idea of maybe what you would like to do for a living?
Yeah.
And he said something like with video, this kind of stuff. So,
right.
Hey, whatever the Lord wills, that's what we're going to do. So
how many times a day do you say my pleasure?
A whole lot. See, I'd work dry. I usually work drive through a pretty good bit, handing food out. So I usually say it a lot every day.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here.
There you go.
Well, we're going to jump right in, Speedy. And
okay. Yeah.
I told you before we got started, got some questions and things like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe we're going to have a good time. But first thing that I do want to ask, and I think I heard the guys talking a little bit about it, maybe this morning on the kickoff hour,
right?
Because I get up and I catch that before I go to work. But I got to ask Speedy, are you really as tight as they say you are?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Actually, some would call it frugal, but no, I am not. Matter of fact, I think Helmsy, if he was here, he would probably be pretty honest and say he is the tightest one on the staff. But it all starts back to where we used to have a sports show, and it was the Good Time Gang. It was myself, Helmsy, and Greg. And it's kind of funny, and I'll get to the point here, but it's kind of funny because we would do the show, which airs live from 6 to 10 a.m., and then the kickoff hour is 5 a.m., and I'm talking Central Time, okay? So just move it up an hour for Eastern. But in our cluster of stations there in our flagship market in Birmingham, there was a sports show, and they wanted us to do a midday sports show. So we would get there and start recording that at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we would do it from 4 to 5. And then they would play that back from 10 to 11. I'm talking Central. And then we would join it at 11 live. But nobody ever picked up on it because we would always do topics that, were pretty generic, that didn't require phone calls, and we knew weren't going to change before the show started back live, So it's one of those things where we would go to lunch when we could afterwards. And a lot of times, and I don't know why, I don't like carrying a wallet in my pockets. I don't know why. I feel like it just weighs me down. So sometimes I'll keep it locked up in my truck, which is just right underneath us. And so we would just spur the moment, go, hey, you want to go grab some lunch? Because where we broadcast is at the city center, and it's just got restaurants all over the place. I mean, we can walk out of the studio and go get tacos or a hamburger, or go to Panera Bread or something like that. And I would always say, let me go get my wallet. And the guys would say, hey, don't worry about it. and that, of course, got blown out of proportion, and everybody started running with it like I don't ever have my wallet, or I don't want to buy lunch. And so that's kind of how all that started is Speedy doesn't have his wallet, it's in his truck. We got it, Speedy. And then it kind of ran from there. But
I got you.
That's kind of the story behind it. But it really all, it all kind of, and really, to be honest with you, we did that for a while, and then we also did afternoons, and that's when we really went to lunch because we had a break. So we did midday and afternoon of a sports show outside the Rick and Bubba Show. It was just kind of the Good Time Gang, the support staff, because our show is about everything, but we love talking about sports and stuff. Now, I couldn't imagine doing that every single day, and so we would do a little bit of sports, a lot of entertainment, but do it our way. It was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah. Well, oh gosh, my train of thought just left me. But that's one thing that I like about the Rick and Bubba Show, and of course, you guys in the morning, the Good Time Gang, the kickoff hour. I'm sitting there, and I'll be watching it, and you guys will start talking about something, and voice your opinion about it or what have you. And I tell my wife, I'm like, that's exactly what I think.
That's it.
And I promise you, I'm not just saying that. I mean, it's like, I think the same thing. I mean, that's exactly what I think about that, Right. And, also I had to ask that question, but I got something else, and we're going to do a little bit of Would You Rather.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'm ready.
I've got 3 Would You Rather questions.
Okay. All right.
Okay. First one is this.
Okay.
Would you rather be Greg or be Helmsley, and why?
Oh my gracious! Okay, now see, this is where they get me. This is where I get in trouble because Helmsley would get mad right now because I got to ask questions about would you rather? What's the setting? Is it are we at work or what? Because see, Helmsley is the organized one. He's very efficient and he's very detailed. Greg is just down and dirty. Just good old boy. Salt. Just has the biggest heart if you can ever get through it and chisel through it. So I really like to be both of them. It just depends on where I'm at. I don't want to skirt the question, but
I understand. I understand. Well,
Greg's Greg. So he's funny. My gracious, he's funny. You ought to hear him in the kitchen off air. He's really funny. But like I said, Helmsy is just very efficient. So I like his organization as well.
I tell you what,
I mean, are we climbing poles? What are we doing? Are we working for the power company, or are we IT guy?
Let's just say, let's put it at work.
At work. Well, I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna say Greg on this, because Greg can say anything and get away with it. And matter of fact, to the point where Helmsy and I will feed him lines sometimes, and sometimes we won't. But sometimes we'll either text him, mouth something to him, and he can say it, and everybody just kind of moves along. If one of us says it, we could possibly get in trouble. I don't know. That's just the dynamic there. So I'm gonna say Greg. I'm gonna say Greg because even though he has to feed the weekend show on Thursdays, he's there long. He has to drive an hour and a half to get there. I would like the freedom of just knowing I can say anything.
Okay. All right. Second question is this. Would you rather be Adler or an intern, and why?
I would rather be Adler. Because I've always wanted to really be able to skateboard. Okay. And I always seem to fall down when I get on those things and skin myself up, and he can go 30 miles an hour on one. All right. I would really like to fly a drone and not wreck into a tree. But really, I guess the biggest would be I'd like long hair for at least a week because I have no hair at all. And he has hair down to his shoulders. But no, he's a great guy, and he can climb the heck out of a wall. The kid could do 20 pull-ups right now, and those little, rock crawling deal setups. He could just go right on up it. Okay. But great guy. But I'd love to be able to be Adler and play an instrument. I mean, there's nothing better than him over there on the drums or on the guitar, and I'll be like, man, I wish I could do that. So
I'm with you on that. I'm
all about Adler.
I'm with you on that one.
I'll say this: if you skateboard, and just be careful not to be skateboarding with dogs.
Okay. Well, it's funny because he would come in and he'd get banged up. And Kevin, I know it sounds like another guy, but that's what he named his dog, Kevin. And Kevin has been a staple on the show. He's brought many stories about Kevin. And now Franklin, he has Franklin, which is just a hilarious dog. But he would always come in because of that. And he would be with Kevin and they would wreck or something would happen. He'd get to going. But he'd always have to film it. He's either holding something or he's got something going where he's filming, flying down the road. And then he would come up just all banged up. He's been pretty hurt from wrecking on those things. But I can't get on one and drive down. I can't go down the driveway or I'm falling, No,
that's me too. I can't do it. All right. Last question. You probably got sense enough to figure this out before I even ask it.
Oh gosh.
Would you rather be Bubba or be Rick, and why?
Oh my gracious. What are you trying to get me in trouble here? I'm trying to politically correct, just answer all these here. Well, I love both of them, but I'm gonna say this: I'd rather be Bubba because of this. I don't have to run the board during the show, so I could eat for 4 hours and then get up and walk around in the breaks and hang out, go to the kitchen, eat some more, get something to drink, come back, eat some more, eat on air, and then just hang out and enjoy the show. So it would be I think my day would be less stressful. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about just the show, I go back to Greg where he has the freedom to kind of say anything. Bubba has the freedom to just kind of, even though he's working hard, he doesn't have the responsibility of kind of being one over here and running the board and having to keep everything going. He just is kind of hanging out, even though he's equally as part of the show. He's just kind of has that freedom, if you know what I mean.
I got you.
I hope I answered those without getting in trouble from the staff.
I think you'll be okay. I really do. I think you'll be okay. I noticed that Catoe, I don't know if you can see, but Catoe, my partner, he's commented a couple of comments.
Has he? Well, tell Catoe he should be with us, him and his big old head.
He told me, he says, nice hairdo, Speedy.
Yeah, I know. Is it shining? I mean, do I need to kind of cover it up a little bit? And he said, it's kind of funny how I got bald, good night, but I wish Catoe was with us.
And then he said, he heard you talking about Bubba and eating a lot. Mm-hmm. He said, Bubba's my kind of guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I've always told Bubba, I'm jealous by the way he thinks. And what I mean by that is, he can eat whatever he wants, but if he chases it with a banana, he thinks he's eating good. Like, well, I mean, it's like I had a banana.
Exactly.
Or man, I had some broccoli. Now it was covered in cheese, but I mean, I had broccoli. And he really thinks that, and I'm like, dadgummit, I wish I could think like that.
Now, are you really an overgreeter?
Probably. My wife, who is outside running around doing something, she would probably say I am. I don't know. I guess so. They labeled it an overgreeter. I mean, I just love people. I love, interacting with them. And sometimes if there's kind of a dead spot in a conversation, especially if the staff is there, sometimes I feel like I have to, hey, let me give a little bit, because it's kind of funny. I'll look over at Greg or Helmsy and I go, hey, I'm gonna give for 3 here because y'all aren't doing anything, so I need to really give a lot. But I guess so. Yeah, maybe so. I guess I am an overgreeter. If you're ever in the golden ticket seats, I try to come over and love on you and say hey to you and ask you questions, and the guys say that's overgreeter. And then my wife, whenever we go for a walk, she claims I have to say hey to all the neighbors. She's like, you don't have to say hey to every neighbor. And I'm like, well, there they are. Why wouldn't we say hey to them?
Just a friendly guy.
You're overgreeting, honey. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just ignore them then.
Speaking of the golden ticket seats, open back up this week.
Yes. Today, if you're listening live, I guess it's Thursday, and it was the second day. And it's been over a year and a half because of COVID. And so it's been awesome. We've had that thing. I think there's been 1 or 2 that emailed and said they couldn't make it because of work or something, which it happens. But most of all the seats have been full, and people are just happy. But the one that's the happiest is Big Boy. He's our statue, and our rolling Big Boy statue. And he's been in the storage room locked up for over a year. And now we have we roll him out, and now he's outside the studio every morning, greeting people as they come in.
He can breathe now.
He can. He's out and about. He's just like, I'm free.
Now we, of course, as we've already said, you and the good time gang kick off the morning show,
right?
What time do you have to get up in the mornings to be there?
Well, so my alarm goes off at 3:20 a.m. Central Time. And my wife will tell you I probably hit snooze 1 too many times. I try. She's a heavy sleeper, but I try to be extremely respectful of her and her not having to get up. So if I can grab snooze before it really gets loud and she doesn't move, I might lay there for a little bit. But 3:20 is when my alarm is set. But I think Greg's probably about an hour earlier than that because he has about an hour and 15-20 minute drive.
Wow.
Helmsy lives closest to the show. He's only a couple of miles from the show, so he didn't have to wake up quite as early. But yeah, 3:20 a.m. Central Time.
Okay.
Wow.
Because most of you guys outside of Greg, you do kind of live there fairly close.
Yeah,
right?
It's in the metro, so you're probably 25 minutes the furthest drive. And that time of day that we go. To be honest with you, the drive in is kind of peaceful. And I know that sounds silly, but it's just like, it's just, there's hardly, anybody on the road. It's kind of my quiet time. I can just pray out loud. I can think about the day. I can, just kind of get prepared mentally on the drive in. And it's sometimes peaceful. Sometimes I'll just roll the windows down and just, come on in.
Yeah. Now, where did you get the name Speedy from?
Well, that goes back to when we were just kind of starting out. Bubba was the chief engineer of the radio station that we worked at. Rick did mornings by himself, and it was the morning extravaganza, and Rick Burgess was the host. And they knew each other from back in school. They had Spanish class together, and they were very familiar with each other. It was kind of funny because the Spanish teacher tried to separate them, but both their names end in B's, so they were right back together because she tried to put them all in alphabetical order. Hey, you sit in alphabetical order, and there they were right back together. But anyway, so Bubba was the chief engineer, and Rick was in there by himself, and every now and then Bubba would come in, and he's just a good old boy. He's just got, he's so funny, his sense of humor, and he's very smart. And so Rick would throw things off of him. And before we knew it, Bubba was in there once a day, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. And when he started like officially saying, all right, I'm coming in 5 days a week, I was doing afternoon drive at the time. And, these radio groups. Yeah. That's like 3 to 7 at the same station. And, these radio goobs that we made fun of wouldn't let me use my real name. So they made me go by like Kevin Calloway. I don't know how in the world they came up with that, but that's what I was going by. And the guys pulled me in and said, hey, we want you to produce the show, but also be the guy that goes out and kind of gets in trouble, does things on the road, does adventures and stuff like that. But we got to have a cool nickname for you. And so we went into our general manager's office and we kind of threw some names around. I think Calvin the Van Man was one of them, which was funny. Road Runner was fun of it because they were thinking that road theme of being out and about. And somebody said, what about Speed Racer? And we all looked at each other and we were like, wait a minute, that kind of sticks right there. And during that time, I was still in college at Jacksonville State. And on the side, I would do all kinds of gigs. Like I would be at your reception or I'd be at a party or whatever. I would be the DJ. I would bring my mobile DJ service and I'd set up and I'd be your DJ. Well, one of the things I did, and it was probably pretty gooby, but I did like, name that tune and different things. So I had a compilation of all the cartoons and the theme songs for those cartoons on these CDs. And I said, I actually have the theme to Speed Racer and we could just play it whenever y'all send me out and we could all scream, go Speed Racer, go. And then just there I go, I get into trouble. And that character really took off because I started doing all kinds of stuff. And then over the years, as the show progressed and got more national, we just condensed it down to Speedy because of the copyright stuff and all that. But so Speed Racer became, Speedy. So that's where it stuck.
Okay. Now, I know you speak of some of the things that you've done, some of the outlandish things. So what is probably the most, or what's some of your favorite things? I know one time you were running naked as a jaybird on a golf course.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, how did they walk you into that?
Well, now, because they know I'll do anything, and back in the day, I would, that's obvious. We were at the, what is now the Regions Charity Classic. And that's, it was the seniors tour. Now it's the champions tour where they come in and, and play golf. The seniors do. And we're there doing our show, which we were getting in trouble, for because Rick is very, anti-golf. I wouldn't say anti-golf. He didn't know the etiquette of golf because he's not into it. Bubba, however, does. And so we would fight being loud because we're loud. We bring volume. You ought to hear us in a restaurant. I mean, everybody's going to look over at us. And we were on the patio and we were being loud and everybody, shh, you're at a golf course, and we're just screaming and hollering and having a good time. And it came up to run for charity. What if I, stripped down and ran across the driving range where, all the pros are getting loose and all this kind of stuff. And I start looking around. I'm like, I'm doing this. And before I knew it, I was running with nothing but socks on, And I think Coach DeBose was at Alabama at the time. He was on the driving range. So was Chi Rodriguez and some others. And I guess I'm lucky I didn't get hit by one of their drives, but I just take off. Now, what I wasn't expecting is that through the wood line, it would open up into a subdivision and a lady would be drinking coffee on her back porch as I come running out. And so that wasn't good. The police really didn't like that, but that was fun. Thought I was really going to get arrested that time. Probably would today. Yeah. Let's see. The scariest thing probably was climbing the water tower in Nashville. And I got, I don't know if it was halfway up. I couldn't remember how high I got up, but the ladder was rusted out and it started coming loose. And I wasn't strapped to anything. Yeah. So I realized at that time I actually froze, and some listeners that were there had to talk me down because I was like, if I fall, I'm dead, So that's what freaked me out the most. The skydiving, I skydived live. I put a foam in a sandwich bag and duct taped it to my leg, and I did a tandem jump. And then when we pulled at 5,000 feet, I called the guys and was live on the air as I came down, and they were actually broadcasting live at the airport where I landed. And then the one I cannot believe I did was getting buried alive for 54 hours. I still can't believe I did that, but it was for Camp Smile a Mile, which is for terminally ill youth and for cancer. And it was to raise money for them, but I'm not going to lie, I got a talent fee too. But there was you could come by and they had it to where you could look down and see me in the casket. I was 6 feet under and everything, and you could see me and I would wave back up, but you would make a donation to do that. And they raised all kinds of money. But I was supposed to stay down there for 2 days, but they offered me a bigger talent fee if I would stay overnight and come out the next morning. So I did. But looking back at it now and seeing the pictures from up top, I mean, it looked like a funeral. I mean, straight up. And they told me that they could get me out within, 30 to 60 seconds if anything went wrong. Okay. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going down. I'll do it. They had, a backhoe sitting there. I mean, they were ready to go. They actually had a guy. I had a phone down there where I could call and a security guard was up top and the phone would ring and we could talk. So if I ever got in trouble, they would know. But there was a delivery truck that came because I was in the front of a grocery store, right outside the grocery store in the parking lot, and a delivery truck came up and all the fumes started coming down there, and I started, choking. They had a blower set up at my feet and a pipe that sucked the air out where my head was, so it was constant fresh air. But all that was getting sucked down. Oh man! So I start calling up top, and nobody's there. Nobody's answering, and I'm like, I'm like this. I'm like, oh my gosh, literally about to die. They don't have to bury me. I'm down here. And finally he answered. I asked him to move, but. That was the scariest part. But when it was time for me to get out and they were like, okay, it's out. Media was there. People were all over the place. It took them over 30 minutes to get me out. So looking back at it now, there's no way they could have gotten me out if anything would have been gone wrong.
Oh, no, like you said, heck, you'd have been in a good place.
Yeah, I would have been. But those are the ones that jump out. I mean, I've been attacked by canines and, Cameron Diaz kicked me out of her limo, and I was going to
ask about that. Every time you was, and I couldn't remember who it was. I just heard it on one of the best of albums. Facing somebody in a limo.
Yeah. Michael Papajohn was there. Cameron Diaz. It was in downtown Birmingham, and I jumped in their limo, and they kicked me out while as it was moving along. It wasn't going very fast. Of course, it hurt, but that was insane. Couldn't believe that. Well, there's Cameron Diaz. I cannot believe that. That was really, really cool. The things we've done at the Talladega Super Speedway, from being grand marshals to me being in their jail, it's just what a relationship that's been, where it started and where it is now. I could go on and on with this. My balance is off still to this day because of getting in the Russian jet and doing all these loops and stuff like that. I still have vertigo to this day. I used to be able to go to the fair, and I was the guy that could really ride anything. And I could get up now, but now, I mean, if I start doing all that, and I know there's a way that our audience has told me to lay on a bed and hang your head upside down and all this kind of stuff to get it rid of, but I haven't been able to shake it. So I still, to this day, suffer from a little bit of that. But they were testing a plane to be sold to some South African, billionaire. And so the pilot, I was able to get cleared to go up with him, and we called the show as we were, in the plane, and he was doing flips and loop-de-loops, and we went up to, I think 15, 20,000 feet, and he cut the thing off, to see if, and we'd go diving, and he, cranks it back up. And I tell you, I was white as a sheet when that thing landed. I was like, don't you throw up, but he had me a little barf bag, but I was like, don't do it. But when that thing opened up, everybody with Don Juan was there and some others were there. They're like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, that's something that I don't like doing, is flying. So I know heck wouldn't want to do that.
But that's really like therapy to me, getting out and doing all that kind of stuff. And as the show grew, I was unable to get out because the responsibilities grew as well with affiliates and stuff like that. But it's fun every now and then to get out and act a fool. I'm pretty good at that.
That is fun. That is.
Yeah.
How many stations are you guys on?
You know, it comes and goes. We're in the 60s right now. It comes and goes because, and that's the frustrating thing about it, because a lot of times we're at the mercy of, when ownership switches over or something like that, we're at the mercy of somebody wanting to make a change to their programming. And so that's why we're very, even though we think terrestrial radio is the greatest medium ever, we love radio. We like to be able to, we want to be available to everyone, so it can't just get snatched from them from market to market. So the podcasting, the TuneIn apps, the iHeartRadio apps, all these apps that are available now. And then you got the YouTube and the Facebook and Blaze TV and all that kind of good stuff. It's great to have so many different avenues for the show to be heard or watched. It helps a lot, but the terrestrial radio and the general managers and the program directors and all that, we love them so much. And there's been some affiliates that have been with us for a long time. I know we're here in South Carolina. Yeah.
And I know that exactly where we are. If I didn't have the app and didn't have YouTube, I wouldn't be able to see.
Right.
Though, if you are on anywhere in South Carolina.
Well, let me see here. A matter of fact, if you don't mind me getting my readers here, my kids make fun of me, and I'm like, well, you just wait. You'll wake up and not be able to read something one day, and I'm going to laugh at you.
I've got mine too.
Yeah. So in South Carolina, just kind of looking through some of the affiliates here, we're in Woodruff, South Carolina, on 95.9 FM and 1510 AM. And then we're on in North Carolina and some surrounding states. But in South Carolina, the DMA on that one is Woodruff, WQUL.
Okay.
How far is Woodruff from here?
Woodruff from where we are right now, where we live, where we're podcasting from, is we can probably be. It's funny though that we can't pick it up, but we can be in Woodruff in probably 45 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you need to try us out and see if you can pick those up. But it's out of there, and we have an FM and an AM as well. There in that market, 95.9 FM and 1510 AM.
Okay, I wrote those down, so I'll try to.
Matter of fact, my middle son was in Myrtle Beach for the entire month of June, playing in a collegiate summer league, and we were able to go over and see him for about a week, and just absolutely loved it. My wife, all she wanted to do was go to Paula Dean's kitchen. That's all she wanted to do, was go there and eat. And when we got there, I think it was a 3.5 to 4 hour wait.
Wow.
But there's lots to do around there. So we figured it out, and we just put our name on the list. You had to physically walk in and do that, but then we just got busy with the day, and then they texted us when it was getting close to being ready. And so we hustled back. Okay.
Now you are a big sports fan.
Oh yes.
Now you, correct me if I'm wrong, but now you are from Mississippi, correct?
Yes, I grew up in Pascagoula, Mississippi, which is, for those of you that have no clue where that is, that's like between Mobile and Biloxi. Okay. Mobile, Alabama, and Biloxi, Mississippi. It's right there on the state line in Mississippi. And I grew up in Pascagoula. My dad worked at Ingalls Shipbuilding, and then when I was in college, he got a job with NASA in Huntsville, and he worked in procurement with the shuttle and the cockpit and all that kind of good stuff, and just really was having a blast there. And so when I went home, I went from, in 1 year, from school, going back home to Pascagoula, Mississippi, to going to Huntsville, Alabama. And a buddy of mine asked me to go down to Jacksonville to a summer party. And I said, I'm not going to Jacksonville, Florida. He goes, no, there's a Jacksonville, Alabama, and there's a Jacksonville State University. I said, really? And so I went down and met some other people and just absolutely fell in love with the university. So I transferred from Mississippi State to Jacksonville State.
Okay.
And then they had a college radio station there. And I'm sitting around, I'm a junior now, with no experience at all. And there were, my advisor was like, you got to do something. And we were in class, and they were like, look, we got the college newspaper. We got, I think it was the Mimosa. We've got a TV station, and they did at the time, and still do, very, very successful. And then also we got a radio station. I went, radio? I've always loved radio. So I went down there and volunteered. It wasn't a paid gig, but I volunteered. A couple of weeks went by. I didn't hear from them. So typical college student, I just forgot about it. And then all of a sudden the phone rang and they was like, hey, is Calvin there? And is he, what's up? Well, can you still work? Do you want to work? I'm like, well, yeah. And they said, okay, well, your shift starts at 4. And it was like 1. And I'm like, you're kidding me. I'm like, no, go come on up, but we'll be here with you. We'll train you. Don't worry about it. He stayed there about 10 minutes and walked out, and I'm just left there, and it looks like a spaceship. You know, I'm like, what in the world? How do I run this stuff? Well, Rick had worked there. Bubba had worked there. And little did I know, I would go from there to K98 in Oxford, where Rick was doing mornings, and we would meet there. So when he was hopping around, he would pull me with him, and then we finally were together in Gadsden, and that's when it all started happening.
Oh, wow, man, that's awesome. Now, you're a Mississippi State fan, correct?
Yes, correct.
I mean, you pull for them through and through, any sport.
Hell State.
Because you said you have a son that plays, right?
Yeah, I have 3 boys. I have one that went to Jacksonville State University and played baseball. And he was one of the COVID seniors, had to have another surgery, and just forewent his last year of eligibility because they got that year back. But he was like, I'm done. And because of COVID, his surgery got pushed back. And so it's amazing how God works. So he had a plan for him, because now he's a high school coach and a high school teacher in Alabama, and just absolutely loving it. Good. Then I have a middle son who, if you're listening live, we're going to sign a name, image, and likeness contract with him tomorrow on the Rick and Bubba Show. He's playing junior college ball right now. And then I have a soon-to-be upcoming senior, that plays football. He's center on the football team. So we're just all about sports. Yeah. And my dad went to Jack State. I mean, we bleed maroon, so I'm sorry, Mississippi State, but we love Jacksonville State, and that's where a lot of the staff went and ended up graduating from. But my family has a bloodline through Mississippi State, and so we love them a lot. We're glad we got Leach on our podcast a while back, and we've built a relationship with him. And so it's a lot happening there in Starkville. But we love that World Series. That College World Series was awesome.
I bet you did. Yeah, I bet you did. Now, Rick has a boy that goes to Mississippi State.
Correct. Yeah, he's going to be a senior this year. Yeah, coming up. Brooks does real well. He works on, speaking of campus radio stations, he does a show there on the campus radio station. And he does a lot with the student body there. And so he's very involved there at Mississippi State. Okay.
I know Seth here, he's our oldest. And then I have Kaylee, who is 11.
Right.
And then, like I said a little bit ago, I have Micah, who is 6. And Kaylee, she is now, she's into softball.
Okay. Well, good.
And so my wife, she where we live right now is where my wife is from. I'm originally from North Carolina.
Okay.
My wife is from here where we are now in South Carolina, and she played softball for the high school here, and then she went and played for Gardner Webb University.
Okay.
If you've ever heard of that. But so my daughter now is playing softball, and she played her first season this past spring.
Okay.
And so she's kind of hooked on it, and I'm kind of hooked on it too. I guess I kind of got hooked on it when I met my wife, and she was talking about playing and stuff and things like that. So I was really, to be honest, I didn't watch any of the World Series baseball.
Okay.
I didn't watch any. I'm gonna tell you
what. I heard a little bit.
It was all that anybody in my family could do to pull me away from the Women's College World Series.
Yeah, well, now I will tell you this. I mean, now we're a baseball family. We love our baseball. But Ryan Greenwood, who used to be with the show, is still a very good friend of the show. He has got his daughters. My gracious, they're so talented. They both play for. He's got 3 daughters, but 2 of them play for Louisville softball.
Okay,
and so I really follow them and their career, their collegiate career, and so I watch a lot more. And we have some friends that and their daughters play softball, and so. The game now, it runs at a different speed, and I like the way it runs. Matter of fact, JC, the middle one, Abby, his girlfriend plays at Wallace State in Huntsville, Alabama, And so we're very involved with softball too. But it's funny because a friend of mine, all of our kids line up. His oldest and my oldest played together. Middle played together. But youngest, it's girl boy. Reese is our youngest, and Madison is his youngest, but it's a girl. And so he went from coaching boys. Oh my gosh, I'm a softball coach. And he said, and one day after about a year, he said, I figured it out. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I know how to coach girls now. And I said, what do you mean you know how to coach girls? He said, well, in baseball, a guy has to play good to be in a good mood. You know, he's got to do well to be happy and jumping around. He said a girl has to feel good and be in a good mood to play good. And I'm like, really? He goes, yes, it's complete opposite. He said, so we just load them up with candy and soft drinks and let them have a blast, and we know we're going to go play well.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I love the pace of softball. It's
me too.
It's a faster sport for sure.
Me too. That's one of the things I do like about it. And like I said, Kaylee, she's played some basketball, and Kaylee, and she's a little athlete. And listen, I am not one of those dads who's going to look you in the face and say, "Let me tell you about my daughter."
Right. Yeah.
You talk about a ball player. I'm not one of those.
Right. Yeah. With parent goggles on, you don't.
I'm a realist, and if I thought that if she went out there on the softball field and couldn't hit a hog in the ditch, I'd be telling my wife, look, she's going to do something else.
Right.
But hey, thankfully so far she did a good job the first time playing. Yeah. And I was really, really proud of her. And before I got you sent the link for us to get on here, I just signed her up for a camp that we're going to go to in a couple weeks up at Liberty University.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Now Liberty's got them a program there. They do well
under Dr. Dot. And Lord willing, if nothing happens, she's going to be on our podcast next week.
Okay, great.
Next Thursday. So we're looking forward to that. And when my wife played, see, Dot was her hero. She had a Dot Richardson bat. Okay. And all that stuff. So she's pretty excited about Dot being on if it gets worked out. We so far so good. We're hoping that everything works out. But
well, that is awesome. Now, Seth, he said that you kind of know everything. You know the ins and outs and the audio and the video and all that kind of stuff. Is that what fires you up? Is that what you were really, really into, the technical side of things?
I mean, I kind of like we have an Apple Mac, and my mama got the Adobe program on it, like Premiere Pro and After Effects and things like that. Right. So I've kind of messed around with it, and I feel like I'd like because see, my cousin up in Ohio, he works at a church. Okay. He does all technical side of stuff. Yes. Promotions, like things like that. So I was telling Dad, like we was talking about, I would kind of like, if somebody would give me a chance and teach me, I feel like I'd like to do that for a little bit. I like to see how that would be.
Yeah, well, one of Rick's sons, Brody, who we call him Taz, he actually does that at a church now. He had the opportunity. He was in college, and doors opened up, and he was able to get a full-time job doing exactly what you just mentioned. And I mean, he does so much in that, the in and outs, and produces things that are played before the service and all this kind of stuff, audio, everything. Just does a great job. And so he actually had a decision to make. He's like, this is what I'm going to school for, to get a degree to do this, but I've got the dream job waiting on me right now. And so he decided that he can always go back to school, but he's going to do that now. And he absolutely loves it.
That's awesome.
So there's a future there.
And there's one other thing, and I'm kind of ashamed to say it, Speedy, that he really likes, but I want to say this, and because I know that Bubba would not appreciate this. And I don't know, it must be his mama's side of the family. It didn't come from mine. He loves, and he doesn't worship Satan.
Okay.
But he loves snakes.
Snakes? I thought you were going to say soccer. Okay.
Well, I did that too.
No, that's ruining America.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say it was a Microsoft product or soccer, but you went with snakes. Okay. That would not be good with Bubba. So do you have snakes, Seth?
No,
sir. No, you just like snakes.
What I do, I'll go out to trails and things, or going out in roads, and I'll find them and kind of catch them and take pictures of them and things like that.
You'll catch them and take pictures of them. Tell me that process. What are you catching them with?
My bare hands.
No, you're not.
So what I'll do is so if I see one and it's going along, I'll grab it. And I've been bit pretty good before by some, but most likely the situations they won't bite. So I'll just get up, kind of get it to try to, you know how they'll get up like this to strike. If they stay still like that, I got a camera that one of my buddies gave me, and I can take pictures of them. I mean, I really kind of like pretty much nature. Right. Animals and but snakes is really my.
I'd like for you to focus on loving animals that can't take you. You know, that's a big deal we have on the Rick and Bubba Show. Never have a pet that can take you.
That's right.
Matter of fact, we actually did a story because in the news right now, there's a python loose in a Louisiana mall.
They caught it. They caught it.
They did finally. Okay, good.
I read it today. If I'm not mistaken, they did get it.
Well, I think it was in Austria where we had a neighbor get a python got loose and it ended up in the toilet of their neighbor. Okay, we got that one. We had a cobra loose here. I think it's called what is a zebra cobra? I can't remember.
North Carolina.
And so we got, and a lot of these are just pets that got loose.
I know.
And I've never understood having a pet that you can't like play with and
exactly.
I've got to look it through an aquarium to a pet because if I play with it, it'd kill me. I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand. And like I said, now I will say on his behalf, he's read books. He has studied. He knows don't tell him, Speedy, that they're poisonous.
Okay.
They're venomous.
Really?
Whatever you do in front of him, don't make the mistake of saying they're poisonous.
Okay.
Snakes are not poisonous, but he knows which ones are venomous. He don't mess with those.
Okay.
At least he's got sense enough to leave those alone.
Like what if I see like a copperhead or a rattlesnake, I'll just kind of observe it and then take a picture with the zoom on, and then I'll just because I've studied for a long time, and I can tell which ones are going to hurt me and which ones are not going to hurt me.
Well, I got dialed in on what a copperhead looks like because we've been in this house for, I guess September will be 2 years. But at the old house, it had a creek that ran through the bottom. And so there would be copperheads that were out. Most of them were just real small. And if I was cutting the yard or something, it would kind of get out onto the driveway, or every now and then we'd have one a real small one get stuck on the sticky pad in the corner of the garage or something like that. But
yeah,
I got really dialed in on what they look like, but I wish I knew more about, because we had a couple of king snakes that came through, and I'm like, was that a corn snake, a rat snake, a king snake? What is it? But there was this one time where my oldest son had just got a phone. And this is back when you didn't get phones when you were 8 years old. Okay. Yeah. This is back when, hey, you're going to get a phone when it's convenient for me, not when it's convenient for you. And so he was in 8th grade, and it was convenient now because now sports were a big deal, and he was having to stay after school and do sport. So it was convenient for him to have a phone so we could communicate on who's picking you up, what time. Well, it got to be about 3:40, and I knew he didn't have practice, and the phone rang. Hey, Dad. I'm like, did you miss the bus? What have you done? He goes, no, I'm at the end of the driveway. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm not getting off this bus. And I said, why? Why aren't you getting off the bus? He goes, there's a snake in the driveway. I'm like, there's a snake in the driveway. I go out there, and it's a little snake about from your elbow to your wrist. It's not big, but it's right there. When you got off the steps of the bus, it was 10 feet from that. Of course, we got kids hanging out the bus. They're screaming, Mr. Speedy, get it. I'm running out with a hoe or something trying to get it. And, of course, I was a hero that day. But the Wilburns, we don't like snakes. We don't want nothing to do with them. I've always told the boys, don't be scared of them. Just respect them and get out of their way.
That's right. Yeah. I guarantee you, Speedy, if you could have put if your son would have put the bus driver on the phone when they're telling you about that snake, this is one thing that I've always found out when anybody's talking about a snake, that thing would have been 6 foot long. If it was an inch, it would have been 6 foot long.
And it would have weighed about 45 pounds.
Oh yeah. Just this huge one, right?
Yeah.
Well, Speedy, listen, I know we want to be respectful of your time.
Sure. Yeah.
And everything. Cause I know, like, as you said, you get up at 20 after 3, or at least by 3:30.
Right. Yeah.
Just a couple more kind of questions.
Okay. All right.
one is, and these are just kind of, I guess, maybe funny questions, but I want to ask them.
Okay.
Let me ask you this: what's the percentage of do you think that the Catoe and Church podcast would have to be able to have either or Dickie Nadmeyer or Dippin' Dan for a podcast?
Like an entire podcast? Like I'm in character the entire time?
Well, yeah, and it don't have to be something to be as long as what we've done tonight, but something to, a lot of people, they may not have ever heard of Dickie Nadmeyer.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, there are some characters, let me just tell you, and they love their teams. I think it's probably about a 60% chance for the podcast. If it was just one of them, it might go up to 70%. But now that we've got this relationship going, I mean, it's a pretty good percentage.
Well, the way hey, you told me I got a chance. That's all I needed.
That's all you needed to hear, right? The door's not closed.
If you'd said 1%, I'd have said, I got a chance.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, we got a problem here. Dippin' Dan, he's at the dock working, so he's going to claim that he don't have time.
Yeah.
And Dickie Nadmeyer's too busy running around the country in his RV chasing Bama all over the place, depending on what sport they're playing. So tying them down is going to be the key.
And see, thinking about Dickie Nadmeyer, his wife Phyllis took a hankering and wants to get a picture with Harvey Updike.
That's right. That's it. That's all. That you got it. So what I'm dealing with there.
Well, yeah, we do. I'm not going to give up. I'm gonna try that sometime.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna try to get that lined up at least for just a few minutes.
Right? Yeah,
just a few minutes with at least one of them. And the other thing, and I heard this here a while back. I know, and I'm sure you will remember. It may have been a couple of months ago. It was before Bubba went on his Washington trip.
Okay.
And I remember Rick talking and saying that he was going to talk with Senator Coach Tuberfield, and see if they was way, because I knew that Bubba, when he went to Washington, he wanted to go in the Smithsonian Institute. If I can say
he did. He did.
Listen, you guys, let me say this. You guys talk about, or Rick and Bubba does, not being able to pronounce things.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, you've heard me long enough right here, right now. You can tell that I'm.
We're brothers, is what we are. You know what I mean?
And so I remember Rick saying that they were going. He was, let's talk to Tuberfield and see if we can't get him to get that thing open or get you in there.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question to you. If the Catoe and Church podcast, or half of us, or whatever, if we can ever make our way down to Birmingham, which is what I know that we want to do.
Yeah.
Is there a way? Is it possible? Because now that I'm going to go ahead and kind of like the way Rick and Bubba were with Mississippi State football coach Lee.
Yeah.
They feel like they're friends now.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how we are right now.
Yeah, we're buddies now.
See, I've got your number.
That's right.
We're pals now. I'm considering us, we'd never met. Now we have.
Yeah.
So now we're just, now we're just like this right here. You're
that's
just
right.
taller. I mean, that's all it is.
You can text me one-liners during the show now. Yeah.
So if the Catoe and Church podcast, or at least half of us, get to Birmingham and able to make it to the broadcast plaza and teleport.
Sure.
Is there, and get to the golden ticket seats?
Yeah.
Is there a way possible to see behind the scenes a little bit?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And work something out there.
I mean, you can sit in my office chair. Sure.
That would be like a bucket list thing for me.
Man, now look, it's not going to be too much to see, but I think y'all being kind of in the business and seeing how things go, I think y'all would be y'all would love it. Y'all would love Adler's setup in our production room and the tech room, how everything's fed out and stuff. Y'all would love that aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
So for sure, that is done. You just know that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna remember that. And one of the things I will say too, real quickly before we go, is I miss and listen. You was talking about Adler earlier and all the things that he does. And I've told Seth and I've told my wife before. I'm like, that's the workingest joker that y'all have.
Yeah, he's good.
But one of the things I really miss, and I hope that he's able to to find the time to do it again was those daily documentaries.
Yeah, let me tell you something. He would stay there till 7, 8 o'clock at night, trying to get those ready. And then he gets married, and then they have a baby with Ruby and stuff. And so life gets busy and stuff. And so then we pulled back, and he was just like, I can't do that. I don't have enough hours in the day. I would love to, but it's just not there, Yeah. And, but yes, were those not great? Now, there was plenty of times that we forgot the cameras were rolling, which made, gold for him. He would always, if you were ever doing anything, you needed to look over your shoulder because you might have a camera following you and you didn't know it. But his creativity and what he was able to do, those are something else.
Oh, they were awesome. As far as I know, we've probably watched every one of them.
Yeah. That would be the highlight of the day is when a daily documentary had been published and it was out and it was ready to be watched. I was watching it quickly. And I was like, did we say that? Oh my gosh, when did that? Oh no,
Because I heard you guys the other day. I believe it was one day this week. And I believe Rick was talking about it when and I can't remember now exactly what subject y'all were on, but y'all were talking about when you're able to see the behind the scenes stuff and how fun that is. See, that's me. That kind of stuff is, I love that kind of stuff. And that's why I like those documentaries so good. I mean, it just took you behind the scenes and seeing stuff that you just normally wouldn't see from you guys.
Yeah.
And that stuff was that was awesome stuff.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Well, if you ever make it down or the whole crew, just let me know and we'll be walking you through there for sure.
Well, I appreciate that, Speedy, man. Again, we are so glad that you joined us here on the Catoe and Church podcast. I mean, like I said, it was a blessing to us, an honor for us. I hate Catoe missed it.
Yeah, Catoe, come on, man.
But I'm sure he's going to watch this, and then we're going to get it on our all of our podcast platforms. Man, it's like I told you here a few days ago, man, it's just something we love doing. And we just enjoy it. And but we are so glad that you were able to be with us this evening.
Well, man, thanks for having me. And Seth, you keep going. But I'm proud of you, how hard you're working. You keep it up, okay?
Thank you.
Well, everybody, we thank you so much for listening to the Catoe and Church podcast. And we have had a ball with Speedy from the Rick and Bubba Show. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. And we love y'all. And thank you for listening. Okay, I see.
Still alive,
All right, Speedy, you still there?
I am still there. Hello, everyone.
Something's happened here. I've lost my.
It's okay.
Sound.
As my boys would say, Daddy, get out of the way. Let me get this. Seth probably wants to do it.
What?
What are you trying to do?
Well, I'm not hearing myself.
Uh-oh, I can hear you.
Yeah, I got you on this end.
You got me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
You get
it there. Okay.
See, I knew Seth would fix that. See?
Let's see. Let me get. There we are. There we go. I got you. My daughter, come here, Kaylee. If you want to say hey, right quick.
Hey, Kaylee.
Say hey.
Hey.
Hey, Kaylee. How are you today?
Good.
I've heard all about you.
She's the softball player right here. This is the athlete.
Well, hey, you keep on keeping on, okay?
Okay.
Here, Micah, come here, buddy.
Micah.
He's shy.
That's okay. That's okay.
He ain't. He's camera shy.
I understand.
I
understand. He wants to be behind the scenes too. I get it.